welcome back. I'm so happy you're here again. And of course, everyone who is new here, welcome to you too. I hope you enjoy what you see. And of course, what we're going to use for this DIY, we are going to use the tumbling tile blocks, jenga blocks, how you call them. And of course, I always say make sure that you have 4 until 5 packages laying around in your stash. You always have enough for each DIY. And of course, we have here the container with everything inside you need for crafting, but you can make your own container what you need. The most important is of course the wood glue. You can use some hot glue, but be careful that it doesn't break. I have here my saucer with an old piece of kitchen towel which is wet to wipe away the glue, and I have here my 3 colors of paint because we are a little bit in the 4th of July season. So we are going to, but you also can of course change it up for your own decor. You don't have to do these colors. So these are the main pieces we need for this DIY. We are going to make something with fireworks. We will see how this will turn out. So our first step will be one row of 12 blocks. So one row of 12 blocks. Of course, he has to run down my glue, and we're going to lay them flat on the table, and we're going to row them very easy on each other. So, and this will be the bottom because I'm going to make it's a kind of a fireworks booth. So we are going to look for a small piece you can place anywhere in your decor, maybe on the tray, but if you want to make it bigger, then you just have to size up. But I'm going to make a small one I can place everywhere around. So I'm going to squeeze it and press it together, and I'm going to wipe away the glue this way. And of course, if you want to turn it over and clean up the back side, always do it fast, place it straight up, and you're going to go and place it back side down, and again you're going to let it dry in, but always first go back and make sure that you have a nice straight line. If you have a carpenter square, you don't have that problem, you just place it against there. So again, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes drying. So now we have 2 rows of 12 because I'm going to look for how high I want to have it. So I'm going to make first one side of my booth. So I'm going to see if I like the height. So we're going to do 2 rows of 12. So very easy, lay them flat on the table and you just row them very gently together like this. Over here, and let me know in the comments if you like better decor for small spaces. Maybe you have a smaller home like we have here in the Netherlands, but of course you can maybe you are someone who has a really big house and likes bigger pieces to decorate with. So let me know in the comments down below, because I see a lot of different that a lot of people have. Even when you have a little bit of a smaller home, people always have big. In the Netherlands, we of course we have some bigger homes, but not most of the time in the way a lot of people know, because we are having, of course, the country itself is very small, so so we don't have that space for so many big houses. So there are countries who have a lot of space around them, and that gives a lot of, I think, a lot of feeling of freedom. But we are a little bit more close to each other. So I'm going to wipe away the glue. I'm going to do the back side. And of course you do it fast, place it straight up, clean up your mat and place it down again. And you see already here's one bad block in between, but I'm going to try to use it. Place it straight up and again do the back side also, and we go back and we're going to make a nice straight line out of it and leave it a couple of minutes drying. So I did wait a couple of minutes. I'm going to place one straight up and I'm going to make a nice small line over here, and I'm going to place this against this one and gently give it some pressure to fill in the open gaps. Also feel on the sides, and of course I'm going to leave the bad piece on the inside of the booth. So again, and I'm going to leave the inside. You can use for some organization. You can do maybe some remote controls inside. You can do maybe some wires inside, but you also can use it kind of like a planter. So you can use it for lots of purposes, maybe something for in your kitchen. You can do some kitchen pieces inside. So there are a lot of ways you can use it for. So I'm going to give this a couple of minutes and then I'm going to place it straight up and I'm going to look for if I like the height. So I made up my mind. I have now my bottom, that is the 1 of 12. And I have here now the front side is the one we just made, is 2 rows of 12 glued together. So now I'm going to make the back side and it is 4 rows of 12. So very easy, lay them also flat on your table and again row them very nicely together. And of course you can change it up any way you like. I can't say it enough because sometimes maybe people think that you have to make it this way, but you don't have to make this way. I always hope that you give your own twist on it and change it up any way you like, because I'm just trying something and maybe you think, oh, that I don't like that. Just change it up and make it for your own taste, because this is just an example. And let me know in the comments who of you just is decorating for the 4th of July or maybe for Canada Day or maybe for any holiday. So I always love to decorate for the seasons, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. But here in the Netherlands, we don't, a lot of people don't decorate for different seasons. Here we are a little bit more, oh yeah, Christmas, most of the people do, but sometimes a little bit Easter, but that's are the most things we are decorating for. But I love decorating for the seasons, like fall, like spring and summer, but it's not everyone's their thing. So let me know in the comments if you like it. So this is the last of the row of 12 and then we're going to gently squeeze it from the inside to the outside, very gently, and over here, because if you press too hard in the first moments, then it will pop out. And I had that already so many times because I'm not really patient. So sometimes it just pops out, but just glue it together again. It doesn't matter. You haven't seen it already so many times on this. You see, whoop, it wants to come up. And again, always go back, make sure that you have a nice straight line. I'm going to clean it up and clean the back side, and then we're going to glue it together. So now we're going to place them a little bit this way. So we get them in this length because it's a little bit easier to glue. So again, we place 3 of them straight up. We do some glue on the top side over here. So every block has a little bit of glue. And we do it over here. And the last. And we're going to place it down and glue it over here, place it down, and this one. And you see already here we have here a really big open gap, and so we go gently squeeze it together and fill in the open gaps as much as we can. But always go back, also look for the sides, because you want the sides to have straight also. And you see already one is really big. I think this block really is bigger than the other one. So I'm going to look for if it is correctly. No, it doesn't really. I think there's one in between over here, which is bigger. So it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to work with it. I'm going to look for how the best I can do with it, because we don't want to waste blocks. We're going to wipe away it clean. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes before I'm going to turn it and do the back side. So I was looking at my 4-piece 4 rows high, but for me he's a little bit too short. So I'm going to get another one of 12, 1 row, and I'm going to make it 1 row longer, the back side, because I think he's for me a little bit too low. The front side and the back side are not comparing with each other, so that's why I'm going to do 1 higher. You see already I glued myself, and now he stays every time on my on my finger. So again, 12 blocks, and we just make it very simple, 1 row longer. And again, we're going to squeeze it this way, and we're going to wipe away the glue and let it dry in for a little moment, not too long. Now we have our piece of 4, and we're just going to do some glue on this one. And we make simply, like I told you, 1 row longer. Over here, we're going to place it down again and just glue it on the top side. Fill in gently the open gaps because you don't want open gaps, at least not so much. So we're going to squeeze it over here and then we're going to wipe away the glue and let it dry in. Oh, you see already, he is almost want to pop out. So again, let it dry in for at least a half hour. So now we're going to do the smallest side and I'm going to place my front side and back side on top of my bottom, not in front of back side, but on the top. So I get a really small opening for, like I told you, small spaces. So we are going to do the sides and this will be 4 rows of 2. So again, you do some glue over here, roll them together, do some over here and over here and over here, and we're going to squeeze it, make sure that you have a straight line, and over here wipe away the glue and let it dry in for a little moment. So now we have our 4 pieces, we're going to turn them and we're going to do some glue on this side, roll it together, and we do here the same, and we roll it together until one piece, fill in the open gaps, and over here, and now we're going to let this dry in for at least 15 until 20 minutes. So now we placed our back side on our table with the blocks line, the longest line this way. We're going to get our bottom, that's the 1 of 12, and we joined some glue on the inside over here at the ending. So over here and this way, we're just going to place it straight up on the underside and give it some pressure. Feel with your fingers that you still have it, the sides straight, and this way, and give it a couple of seconds to dry in, of seconds, at least a couple of minutes. Seconds is really short. So now we're going to get our smaller pieces. This is the 4 blocks, the double 2s you glue together. So we're going to place them over here. So we do some glue on this side, on the underside, over here, and on the longest smaller side, and you're going to place them also on top of here on the inside. And again, feel with your fingers, make sure that you have a nice straight line, always go back and this way, and we do here the same. We do some glue on this side, over here, and on this side. And we place this one on this side, on the inside. Feel with your fingers, and of course always make sure that he doesn't stick over, but also is not going to be too much on the inside. You want to have it a smooth lining on the side and over here, and give it also a couple of minutes drying. So now we're going to get this piece that is the 2 rows of 12. We do very easy. We do some glue on the underside over here. Oh, you have to place it straight up and this way. And we do some glue on this one and on this one. And we just place it over here. Make sure that we fill it in and give it a little bit of pressure. Press it down and over here. Feel with your fingers aside because you don't want that it sticks over too much. And then work your way within the pieces. And if you're happy how the shape is turned out, then let it dry in for at least an hour. So now I'm going to make my top, and this is 4 rows of 4. So very easy, you just lay them flat on the table again and you row 4 sets of 4 together and this way. But you can do the roof any way you like. You don't, like I told you earlier, you don't have to do it this way. Maybe you can use some raffia on the top. You can place some cardboard if you don't want to use the blocks too much. So you can change it up to your own taste. And again, we're going to squeeze them and we're going to wipe away the glue and let it dry in for a couple of minutes. So now I have my 4 blocks. I'm going to turn them and I'm going to row them very easy together. So like this way, and on the tops over here, and this one over here, and we're going to squeeze them together until one piece. Fill in the open gaps as much as you can, but don't forget the sides, because you want also the sides to be in a nice shape. And again, so you see this one, I can move it, so maybe if you turn it, maybe it works a little bit better. Always look for which is the best side to work with. So I'm going to let this dry in for at least 10 minutes. So in the meantime, while the roof is drying, we are going to have 4 blocks and we're just going to do some glue on the top side, because we're making kind of a little bit wider front, so it looks a little bit like a counter. So we're going to do 4 blocks like this. We're going to squeeze them together, clean up the top side, do it on the side, do it on the back side, and we're going to let it dry in for at least, always go back, look that you have a straight line, and let it dry in for at least 10 minutes. So now we have our little box over here, and I call it my little market booth, but you can call it any way you like. So we have here, of course, the top, the roof, and you can, like I told you, change it up. I'm going to glue it on the top side above, but you could also do it over here. So if you want to have a little bit more overlay, then you can place it on top. I'm going to go for this one. So I'm going to do some glue on the line over here, and go back. Make sure that everything has some glue. And I'm going to place it against here. Feel with your fingers and then press it together. And let it dry in for at least 15 until 20 minutes before you're going to do the next step. So in the meantime, we get our piece of 4. This is drying also. We're going to do some glue on the smallest line over here. And we make the counter a little bit wider so we can place some decor on top of here. So again, make sure that you have a straight line. Feel with your fingers on the side and on the top side, and then let it dry in also for at least 20 minutes. So you see, I did wait a half hour, so he's looking like right now. So I'm going to paint mine in the white, but you can do in the dark blue, dark red, bright red, maybe some wood color. I was debating if I would leave it just in the wood color and just give it a little bit of a brown look, but I think I'm going to go for the white, because this paint is still the wood coming through. So I think I'm going to go for the white. So, but choose your color. I'm going to take my time for it. I won't bore you with that. So I'm going to paint this one on my own. So in the meantime, while my market booth is drying, I have here some wooden letters. You see, this is just the simple thin wooden letters. And of course, you can do some stickers. You can write it yourself, but I'm going to do the word fireworks on the inside of my market booth. So, and I'm going to color them in the red color, and I'm going to make myself easy. I'm just going to take a marker, because if I do it with paint, I will mess everything under, and then every layer of the letter is red. So I'm going to go to do it a little bit more precisely. So I'm going to do it with my marker, but do it any way you like. So my letters are red, my box is dry, and of course now I'm going to first not glue them immediately. First I'm going to just lay them over here and exactly look for where I want to have them. So never glue them already the first time, because maybe you need to change it up. So I'm just going to place it on my piece, and then I'm going to look for where I want to have them. So you see already I have the letters on top, and of course maybe if I'm looking at it right now, I should have done it a little bit lower, because I have a roof over here. If you don't have it, it's easier, then it doesn't matter. And of course you see it backwards. Don't worry, it's just the camera. I'm going to do, again, did go to my stash and I found from the fall season some little mushrooms. And of course they are from wood and I'm going to paint them in the red and the blue. And I'm going to glue them on top of my roof. So I'm going to do the underside of my little mushroom in the blue color. And I'm going to do the top in the bright red. And of course, just go around in your stash what you can find for which is for the top two little points, and or maybe to decorate it, because everyone decorated their own way, and a lot of you have already access to a lot of cute little figurines for 4th of July. But I have to make up my own because I'm from the Netherlands. We don't have the 4th of July, so I'm going to make everything for my own. So I'm going to paint both of the pieces and then we're going to glue them on top. So I also found in my stash little clothes, spools, I think you call them. So you can find them anywhere in every store because they are very common for what you can buy. So I'm going to make 2 red and 2 blue. So, and of course, maybe you can do the thing because this will be little firecrackers. Later we're going to do some twine inside, but we're going to paint them first. So I have here my 4 little clothes, why do I say that? I mean little spools you can find anywhere. What we're going to do, we are just going to do 2 turns this way. So you have 2 rounds on this side. So you see, you have just 2 rounds over here. You're going to cut it off because we only need to press 2 pieces inside because my opening is not too big. So I'm just going to squeeze it and just turn it around and make sure that it goes a little bit down. And then you don't even have to glue it. Of course, we're going to cut off this piece. And now we're going to go work out our twine, because this is, you can leave it this way, but of course we want to have it a little bit looking more like a real, we call it in the Netherlands, we call it a lont. At least the outside of your firecracker. So I'm going to do for all 4 of them, and then I'm going to pull them apart so it looks a little bit more like a firecracker. So you see already how easy is it just to make 2 little firecrackers. Of course, everyone can make them different. I made a dark blue and a red one for on the sides over here. You see later how I decorate it. Of course, now we're going to glue our 2 little tops on top of our market booth. So this one on a point, and you can do maybe a little bead on top. You can do anything you like. So what I almost did forgot to show you, of course, you see it backwards again. This is a piece of thicker cardboard, and I'm going to made it in the dark blue color. And I just sold here, write it on just with a white marker. I place it on top, and I'm going to place it on the word fireworks. So fireworks sold here. So I'm going to glue this under the word fireworks. So you see already, I place it down, I do some glue on the back side over here, and I place it in the middle, like I told you, of the word fireworks. And again, going to give it a little bit of pressure, and we're going to let this dry in for at least a couple of minutes. So in the meantime, I have still a piece of twine, and I think this is a little bit too wide. So I'm going to get a piece of twine, I double it up. And I'm just going to measure out a little bit like this. I'm just going to cut it. So, and I'm going to do on the open side, this too, this way. I'm going to make a knot over here. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a knot over here. I'm just going to cut it a little bit shorter, this way. So you have like this. And I'm going to look for, if I'm going to glue this one on here, then I'm going to make a little bit of a bow, at least a little half round. And then I'm going to, how long I want to have this one. I think over here I'm going to make a knot also. And I'm going to pull it out and make sure that I have it over here. And I'm going to cut off this piece also. So then you have on each end, you have an open, kind of a little with some twine. So this is very easy, double like this. And now I'm going to glue this on top of here, one on this side and one on this side. So a little bit of hot glue on the ending, and I'm going to place this one over here and move away the glue you don't need. And now I'm going to place this one on the other side on the same height. Do a little bit of glue and you place it over here and let it dry in also. And I'm going to give it a couple of seconds. So now I get a piece of the middle over here, and you know you have 12 blocks in a row, so you know exactly where the middle is. So you do a little bit of glue over here and you just place your piece of twine inside. So you always have the middle this way. And what we're going to do, I have now some other wooden ladders I found in my stash. I always have lots of ladders over here, and of course I have the word USA, and I'm going to make it white, red and blue for on top of here. So now I will have my hot glue, and I'm going to do a little bit of glue over here on each side of the ladder on the back side, and of course I'm going to hang it over here. I do a little on the inside of the A, I do a little glue, and I'm going to hang this one over here. And now the last, a little in the middle of the S. And I'm going to place this one over here. Give it some pressure and I'm going to let it dry, and you see in a moment how I decorated this piece, because everyone can decorate it their own way. And here you see finally a quick impression of my tumbling tile blocks fireworks market booth, and I think he turned out very nice, especially for small spaces. I hope you give this one a try, and everyone who is new here, I hope you enjoy what you saw. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, of course I hope you will click the red subscribe button, give me a thumbs up and hit the bell so you will be notified every time I upload new DIYs. Everyone here, have an amazing day, and of course I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.